Hi, this is Tim Krolsky. You've gotten to know some of Garner's folks personally through my podcast. Now it's time for you to hear about the ever-changing things happening in the trucking industry. From regulations to technology to customers and the daily life of a trucker, it's time to hear from the folks on the road and the people off the road who provide support. What will your perspective be? Will you agree with the thoughts of others? Find out when you come with me on Garner Trucking's Beyond the Cab. Hello and welcome to another edition of Beyond the Cab. I'm your host Tim Krolsky, and today I have two very special guests with me. I am honored to have Awais Ashraf, who is one of our driver trainers here at Garner Trucking, and luckily enough for me, I also get the honor of speaking with Jose Clavijo.
That's right.
From Cleveland, Ohio, right?
That's right.
Welcome aboard. I'm glad to have you,
Thank you.
on board the good ship Garner here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
We're glad.
We have kind of an interesting conversational piece, I think, today. Something that I think is near and dear to every trucking company's heart right now, and that is the heart and soul of any trucking company, which is the driver force. Just to kind of set up our conversation a little bit today, there's a couple of things that are going on in the universe right now that are really adding to, I think, what's already was a bad situation. And depending on who you talk to, some will say, yeah, there's no driver shortage. I don't believe in that. There's a shortage of pay. There's, all these other reasons why we don't call it a driver shortage. We've got a situation right now with COVID where the peak volumes of freight, it's just insane. And I've been in trucking now for 24 years. I've never really seen anything quite to this magnitude. And it's keeping everyone very busy. These are great problems to have. But behind it all is the workforce piece that isn't there. Or if if I had 10 more trucks or 10 more drivers or 20 more trucks, 20 more, I could be doing a lot more freight. We could be even busier than we are right now. So again, really good problems to have. But then you compound the COVID situation with a long time of no ability to be able to go and actually get training. Jose, you're kind of familiar in this world. When did you start training?
I did start my training back in January 23rd.
Okay. And what, 4 weeks?
Yeah, it took me 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
It was pretty rough. I mean, I didn't have not even my permit. So it was kind of.
So you started from ground zero.
Ground zero.
All right.
It's been a roller coaster, but I'm glad I made it.
Yeah, well, we are too. We are too. I know that especially in the first part of 2020, when you started getting into April and May and even into June, even your Bureau of Motor Vehicles was closed. You couldn't even get your CDL updated. So those that were going to school couldn't even get it at that point. You combine those issues with a drug and alcohol clearinghouse now, which has, I believe the last statistic I heard was close to 60,000 drivers that have been disqualified for drugs and alcohol for whatever reason, and that's again can be a positive thing in terms of if you have some substance abuse issues and you're out on the road. That's we don't want that. We want a safe industry, but at the end of the day, it's still 60,000 more drivers that are not behind the wheel.
That's right.
So with the volumes of freight we have, the shortages coming from that clearinghouse and from that driver training pool, I've always believed, and I think we even did a show about this, that 21-year-old driver from 18 to 21, you miss a whole market of individuals that just don't simply get into the industry. They go to something else because they can't. They won't, they're not allowed to drive interstate. So it's not very appealing from the trucking company standpoint in some situations. They don't want to deal with a driver that's brand new like that at 18 or 19 years of age because they're still developing habits, driving habits, those types of things. So it really puts trucking in a difficult spot. So Awais, how long have you been with Garner?
5 years.
Okay, so 5 years now.
5 years, yeah.
And through that time, you've already seen some massive changes.
Massive changes. It's just people are very nice here, and everything is beautiful. Working with Garner, and I love 4 and 4 off.
Okay.
So I can spend time with the family, and I can be on the road.
Well, you've got young kids.
Yes, I have young kids, and they're just crazy. Take so much time, so much energy. And but it's just still fun. Whenever I go home, spend time with the family, and so when I'm on the road, I just make sure I drive as much as I can, so I can make enough money to survive.
Sure. Well, and that's, one of the things that we had put that 4x4 program together. It's probably been, I don't know, 2012, something like that, 2012, 2013. It's actually by design of a couple of our drivers that came in and said, hey, one of them was close to retirement. One of them had a farm. Both of them wanted to continue to work and drive truck, but they didn't want to have to do it to the magnitude that they were doing, in a 5x6 type situation. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to offer that as an alternative. It was, again, driver-born idea, so we take those things pretty seriously, and it's doing exactly what it's meant to do for someone like yourself who has kids at home. You have priorities. You got to make money. We got to get out there and do those things, but at the same time, there's some other priorities on the home front, too.
Yeah, I started 2015, and I love it. I think this is the only reason I'm sticking with trucking, and I love it. It's thanks to Garner.
Awesome.
By having 4 and 4 off.
So, Jose, you've been here for a total of like 5 minutes in the real world, right? So what at this point would you say, just the job in general, what are you seeing as the positives? What are you seeing as the negatives at this point?
Okay, well, one of the things that I did like was the option of going 4 and 4 or 5 and 6. Mm-hmm. I did pick 5 and 6 because I'm starting. I'm a rookie. And I need to put a lot of hard work out there. I have to put a lot of mileage, get experience under my belt. And right now I'm in the mission of accomplishing all the goals that I got in my life. I got a kid to look out for, and that's pushing me hard to reach those goals. I'm planning to be a homeowner later on in the future. So working the 5-6 is gonna help me, make the money that I need to make my goals happen. And I like the fact that I can always change back and forward as long as there's a position available. But I'm gonna go for a few years, try to stay there at the 5-6, and later on move to the 4 and 4 and enjoy my kids' life a little more, and then, after the hard work and all the goals are accomplished. So
that's incredible. That's not that odd a story. We were sharing a few moments earlier before we got started with the program today, and I've got 4 boys, and I did the same thing. I wanted to raise my children and give them the best possible life that I could, and trucking provided that for me. I'm very thankful to be in this industry as long as I have. And I think it's always been important to have those different avenues, as you guys are pointing out, that 4x4, 5x6. And not that I want this to be a commercial for Garner, but at the end of the day, that's really what it's got to be about, because as we really are kind of in a tough spot as far as that workforce, we've got to come up with some creative solutions that work, for everyone involved.
Sure. Yeah, if Jose, you like 5 and 6 days, it's very good. That's what you pick, and it's nice. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
You can work and help you can achieve your goals sooner than what you're thinking.
It's happening. I'm very positive. I know I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
Stay safe out there all the time.
Yeah, drive safe. Yep.
Be on time. Be safe. Stay aware.
That's right.
There's a lot of stuff going out there in the road, especially nowadays. But also, this whole COVID situation is making a lot of people. I believe it's making a lot of people. Yep. Stressful, mm-hmm. And it's a new way of life, so they're not used to it, and having that change in such a short period is just
it's life changing.
Yeah. Yep, it is life changing. It's I think for some exhausting. I know that through the last year of managing people, you see so many different reactions to what's happened. Over the course of this last year now. It's been almost literally a year.
Yeah, more than a year, yes.
Yeah, since things got shut down, and I think, it all started with a lot of mass depression, and, we're not going out anymore, and those types of things. But I was reading an article just this morning about the volumes of freight, and now the dynamics of that may shift a little bit. Maybe we're not buying as much toilet paper as we were 6 months ago.
True.
But at the end of the day, these products are still I mean, there's still a high demand.
High
I think
demand.
supply chain, there's still a shortage of items.
Yeah.
I know even for us, some of the things like truck parts, we're having a hard time getting hoses. Regular, normal things that you should be able to get.
True.
We're having some difficulty with, and it's thanks to the truck driver that we do get those items when we can. When and if we can.
Yeah.
Avis, what I call you Avis because
that's fine. It's easier for everybody.
So, but the question that I had for you is, what can trucking companies do to better firm up that relationship with the driver? Because there's a separation that happens, right? You have this team of people that's in a building somewhere, and we're taking phone calls and handling customers and drivers and all these things, and then we have that individual that's out on the road.
I think what you're doing right here, right now, podcast, listening to drivers, so everybody can listen to our voice. It's just like you want to listen to driver, what they have to say. They want more home time. They want more time on the road. They want more mileage. They want break. They want to drive at nighttime, or they want to drive in the daytime, or they want the newer trucks. They want the drivers. I mean, we are happy when our truck is running fine without any breakdown, any incidents. And it's just with all that pandemic and corona, it's just people are more frustrated, more crazy on the road. So we need to drive more careful, because if you see every other car, they're holding a cell phone, texting while they're driving. So our truckers, we are more careful driving for on the road.
You're professionals.
We're professional. We need to make sure we keep our safe distance and everything. And for this pandemic, I think this Garner company is doing a fantastic job keeping all the drivers in and hiring new drivers, which is it's very nice.
Well, it's challenging at times.
It's challenging, yes, but all the people in this company, they're doing a fantastic job.
Would you say that, do you think that drivers are leaving the industry because of things like the pandemic, because of the stress of it, because of the worry of it, or do you not see that as a trend? And I don't have any statistics to back that up either way, but
I don't know. The only time I think they can leave is just when probably they can get tired of driving, or maybe they have some family issue going on in their personal life, like maybe with their kids, with their wife or girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they just got fed up because they're on the road and they're not in the house all the time.
They'll probably worry that they'll get sick, and time will be very limited.
Mm-hmm.
I know people, I know friends, and including family that had the COVID in the past, and it's been pretty hard for them, because they feel like they're alone. Just because nobody wants to get nearby and
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Whenever you turn the TV on, the radio, I mean, they're just talking about people are dying and dying and dying. Is it's very serious virus, and it's just scare everybody.
Well, and it's hard to hear that over and over again each day too.
Yeah.
I know, to your point, Jose. My mother, she's from where I grew up in Lorain. She still lives there. I haven't seen her. I've seen her twice in the last year, and it's a little unsettling at that point. We have we've been doing things through portal now. We use the portal, and at least I can see her and have some conversation and
on the video chat.
We can enjoy each other's company. Which, if this would have happened 20, 30 years ago, it would have been even
possible.
Not at all.
Before about a year and a few months ago, when the COVID actually started, I had two jobs. I was doing HVAC commercially, and I was doing a tire technician commercially as a part-time during weekends. But when the COVID came, they used to send me out to hospitals. They needed AC because they were setting up tents and they were setting up COVID checkpoints. They needed air scrubbers. The HVAC industry actually got some good gold over there because all of these equipment started being rented and sold and all this kind of stuff. And it was like the beginning of it where it literally blew out the whole situation. kind of got a little shy and a little worried what was going on. I mean, my son was 2 years old by that time, and I can say that I quit that job because of the COVID. You know, I was just too worried for my kid. Doing the tire technician full time, I was a bit more away from, hospitals, definitely.
Yeah.
And I was more on my own, and still it was, I'm not gonna mention the company, but it wasn't like the most clean, and it wasn't like they were following things up how they were supposed to.
Right.
And there was that point where I was just like, I gotta find something better. I'm risking too much, and that's why I went for the CDL, thinking that for sure picking the solo driver position, I can be a little bit more on my own and kind of take care of myself. If something happens to me, I can say that it was because maybe I got a little bit, careless. Then, so I'm just putting myself on my own to avoid
everybody else.
Yeah, I remember last year during pandemic, it's still within pandemic, but last year whenever you're out of sanitizer, hand sanitizer, and I'm unable to find it anywhere. So I need to clean the truck. I need to make sure I'm safe. I'm on the work. So I always come in the office and always get refilled my bottle, hand sanitizer, and spray for cleaning the stuff, the truck and everything, and I was very fortunate for that. So
one of those things we got very good at in a very short amount of time.
Always in the office, the things are available, all the mask and everything, which you cannot find it anywhere outside, even if you want to pay double or triple them price. But so it was like, wow, that's nice, amazing.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little story about that. So it boils down to our HR director. Her husband is retired military, and he's at home. Great guy. And he basically would just go and headhunt every single day. He would be the guy going to the store if he could find a couple bottles of sanitizer, a couple bottles of cleaner. He did it literally every day. He would go out and do that. And that's how we got started with it. And then over time, obviously, you get a little bit of buying power, and you can, start to fix that problem as time went on, and we got some things moving, but it's interesting. I just wondered if that is a situation where drivers have left the industry because of the fact that they were, one thing that never really got talked about is the fact that they're traveling. You guys are traveling.
Yes.
You're going to other states, you're going to, but the adaptation there, I think, from even the shipping community who didn't want to get sick either, they came up with a lot of pretty creative stuff, right?
Yes, there is no touch freight. I mean, you have to be just stay far from the windows for your paperwork, BOL. And it was there. Everybody got pretty creative, and they sign up paperwork from you, like you have any symptoms or are you sick? They check your temperature before you go. Every shipper is different. Every receiver is different. But they're all taking all the full cautions, and you have to wear a mask all the time whenever you're on their property. And it's helping everybody, all the drivers, and thank God I worked in all this pandemic and never got sick or nothing, no flu, nothing, thank God.
That's awesome. And we did have pretty good luck.
Yes,
we did have pretty good luck, at least
yes.
To this point anyway. Sure. We had a few drivers that were a little skeptical, and I think the only way we could handle that is the only way we knew how, and that was to be lenient. And if you decided that you needed to be home through that time, and then okay, that's what you've got to do.
Sure.
And I think it worked out for those, and it worked out for others that were able to work and felt comfortable in doing so. It's it's a tough time when you're dealing with something brand new on a world scale like this.
And sometimes I think, if the companies can explain to their drivers what's the procedure we have to take. Sometimes, let's say if a driver is driving and he got sick and he felt sick, but he don't want to be staying home to
get everyone else sick.
Get everybody sick.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was like, oh, if I stay home, I don't make that money. I need that cash. So the companies they can explain more, like what you have to do. Let's say if the driver got COVID or they got symptoms, what they have to do next step. So they should explain more to the drivers, so the drivers can feel comfortable, so they don't have to be like, oh my God, if I stay home or I'm off, so I'm not gonna make money.
Barring the COVID situation, what else can driving companies do to ensure that best workforce to take care of the drivers they have? You know, it's one thing to hire new drivers, right? But it's always easier, it's always better if you can keep who you have and grow from there, right, instead of, you know, turnover. What would you say? It's top 2 or 3 things that trucking companies can do better?
I think if the drivers who's been with the company for 5 years or more than a year or 2 years, well, many years with the company, and he decided to go with different company or switch the company without retiring, I think the company should talk to him or her and ask what's going on. Most of the time, I believe it's just a money issue, because a lot of new companies, they're offering drivers higher pay, which you can make working for last 5 years or 10 years.
Right.
So, I mean, if you talk with them to the drivers, or drivers can talk to the company, they can work out something. Maybe they won't let you go if the price pay can raise a couple cents or more, 10% or whichever.
Okay. All right.
So I think that's the only thing I can think of right now. Or other than that, it just could be a personal reason.
Well, and I find for us, our turnover, a lot of it will happen with home time. You want that daily, you know, home daily type situation, which I think, you know, is kind of end game for a lot of drivers that are out there. But that's, you know, I know that's always another area if we can be a little more creative in that universe from a driver's perspective.
Or, I mean, having a new truck and brake-free trucks.
That can't hurt.
That can't hurt, yes.
That can't hurt. Jose, what are your thoughts? I mean, again, limited time in the industry, but you're already starting to see, you know, what it's like, long days. It's tough hours. It's weird hours. It's, you know, you're always waking up someplace different, and there's an adventure there, but at the end of the day, it's still tough work. It's hard work. So what else can truck driving companies do to support the driver on the road?
Well, I would say the money, like he was saying, gladly I mean, I'm not rich, I'm not poor, I'm in between that middle class, and
that's it. It's all about the money.
I guess so, because honestly, I think that
guess it's all about the money.
those guys who has been working out there being essential, I think they feel a little bit mistreated when, you know, a lot of other people who are not essential, they were just sitting home making a bunch of money.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of like, for those essential employees, I think it's a little bit unfair.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been essential since the whole thing started, and I have felt how, like, man, a little bonus, you know, but I mean, we
did 2 of those last year. You just fell short.
Yeah,
we sent out 2 essential bonuses last year because you're hitting it right on the head. I mean, you're making the country go.
Right.
You're making the country move, and that's you know, it seems like when you're behind the wheel and you're moving a load. Yeah. It doesn't seem like all that, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's the reality. Everything we need to survive.
True.
You're bringing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I believe that the one reason why I'm staying in places and I can work years for companies because of the communication and you know, the trust that we may have, you know, employee and employer.
And that's the same thing I was telling Jose the other day, maybe yesterday. Like with the Garner, this company, he can talk to anybody, anytime, and he will be known by the name, not by the numbers or by anything. He can come in the office, talk to you or anybody.
Feel like family.
So it's just like family.
Just like this.
Just like that.
Who'd have thought a week ago you'd be on a podcast, right?
Yeah, the first time on the podcast, I'm like, wow, what is going on over here?
It took you 1 week to get here, and it took me 5 years to get here.
There we go. Well, I think on that note, I just want to say, gentlemen, I really appreciate what you're doing out there.
Thank you.
I appreciate the fact that you took some time to talk with me today, and definitely appreciate the job you do each and every day out there.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking our...
Yeah, learning a lot. I'm
thinking
learning
what
a lot.
we need to think about. Yes.
Well, hopefully you can reflect back on it now and think of about 20 other things that, I should have said this. Right?
It's going to happen. I would be like, oh my God, why wouldn't I say that? So
Yeah.
it's just...
Yeah, I feel the same way. I know pretty sure as soon as I walked on it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I should have said that.
Yeah.
But I mean, communication, like he said,
Yeah.
company should talk to the drivers directly and see how we can help you, and that will help more to stay the drivers.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. On that note, I say thanks for another edition of Beyond the Cab.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.